Hi, welcome back to Community Focus. Kenny Fogle here. Glad you could join us today or tonight. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Nelson County and Bardstown specifically with Bardstown Police Chief Rick McCubbin. And first, Chief, welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Obviously, when we have the police chief on, first one of the things we're going to talk about is crime. And I know that's something that's near and dear to your heart, but that you deal with every day. But I did see a survey come out a few weeks ago, or maybe say a week or so ago, and it says Bardstown was one of the safest places in the United States to live. And I'm sure you'd like to expand on that a little bit.
I would. I'd love to brag on the great police officers in this community, and that's why it is. And that question was brought up at another press conference I was at. And it was a good question. It said, we've got, sadly, we've got 3 murders, the Netherlands and our officer. So how can we say it's a great, it's a safe community when we have 3 unsolved murders? And really, I think is what they look at is crimes against property versus crimes against person. And they're 2 separate, totally separate things. And we have a lot of theft and burglary in this area. Nothing extraordinary that a town our size or our problems would have. But the thing that we don't have, thank goodness, is the crimes against persons. We don't have the assaults, the street robberies, the muggings, if you will. We don't have that here. And that says a lot for our community.
Well, obviously, what you just mentioned a minute ago, the Netherlands and Officer Ellis, of course. I mean, I don't say they're isolated incidents, but like a plane crash. When somebody hears a plane crash, they think about, they don't want to fly anymore. Right. But there's 15 car wrecks every day just in the neighborhood.
Exactly.
But obviously those draw a lot of attention, but they are few and far between, really, if you think about it.
Yes. And that's the first murders in this whole area in quite a long time. But unfortunately, they were just right there together, right within, like a year apart. So it really jumped out at people.
And it's not as easy to solve these as it looks like on a 1-hour TV show.
No, I wish.
Yeah, CSI can come up, have a murder and have it solved within 60 minutes. And it's a whole lot, because I was surprised how long it takes just to do DNA testing and things of that nature, and what all has to go into it. It's not just looking in a microscope and saying, hey, this person's footprint's there, so we got them. I know there's a whole lot more to the investigative part of it.
Very much. And with technology, court rulings, we basically have to put a case together to impress 12 people who have no criminal justice background, and it's called a jury.
Yeah.
And we respect that process, but we have to present that almost, I don't want to use the word salesman, but to a degree, that's kind of what it is. Of course, I'm backing it with evidence and fact, but I'm trying to convince 12 people.
Right. And you don't want to go into there with a weak case.
No. The defense attorney wants me to do that. And the defense attorney needs to convince those same 12 people why it shouldn't be. We have to convince why it should. So it takes a while to prepare for that. And there's a lot goes into it.
Well, as you look at this community, obviously, as you mentioned, not a lot of personal crime, but at one time, people were talking about gangs in Nelson County. I mean, I've not heard a whole lot about it. You probably hear more about it than I do because you're working with it every day. Is that something that's even something that we're concerned with right now, or is that something you?
No, that's something of no concern as far as we're concerned, and I feel comfortable in saying that. Does that mean we have a group of people running around wanting to be a gang? Sure.
Yeah.
But there's no organized affiliation of any gang in this community. About 20 months ago when our officer was murdered, we had a lot of people talking about we have a gang, and well, let's just say we put that to rest. We had a group of young men that wanted to say that, wanted to brag, wanted to try to be one. So being a good police department, I ordered our officers, if they want to act like gang members, we'll treat them like gang members, and we stopped that real quick. And that's just the way I like to operate. Try to stay ahead of it.
I know you got a very close-knit police department here, and that's one of the things that you've been involved with police work for quite a number of years outside of Bardstown as well. So when you hear of something like what's going on out, say like in Ferguson and places like that, I know that gets under your skin because it's a personal thing with you. So exactly your idea on policing here. I mean, obviously, there's going to be 1 or 2 people in any organization that's going to give the whole group a bad name, but how do you take care of that? How do you make sure that your police officers are doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Well, I think it all starts with obviously the hiring process. What caliber of man or woman are we getting? And since I've been chief, I believe 12. Just in 4 years of being chief, I think I've hired 12 police officers. And you know, it's like any job. Everyone looks good on paper. Everyone does good in an interview, but we have to. But in our profession, we do a very extensive background, and I guess we delve into it a bit more. And that doesn't mean that something's going to go right 100% of the time. But when we start with the type person that wants to be a law enforcement officer, we push that the hardest. And you know, many of the things that we see on the news are not because it's a rogue police officer or something. It's something's gone bad,
right?
And that's going to happen,
right?
You could have the textbook man or woman police officer, man or woman out here doing their job as a police officer, and things are going to go.
Well, you've got to make a decision immediately. I mean, it's not something that you have time to sit down and analyze and think about. So obviously, there's a lot of training goes into psychological aspects of it. I mean, I know you see these training scenarios where people go through and they're shooting at different targets, and one target might be friendly that pops up, and inadvertently somebody's going to blow away the friendly target. So sometimes that happens.
Well, it is, and it's split-second decision, and that's what we've gotten away from. A lot of common sense in our society, and you know, I'm pretty outspoken about things, but that's about the only way I can sum it up. We have really gotten away from just common sense, not just policing, but common sense in everything that we do. And you know, again, publicly, I said the national media really fueled Ferguson, because obviously
that's what the media does. I'm not saying we're on the media, but that's what the media does.
But that took that case that was. You know, there are a lot of persons that are shot who are unarmed.
Right.
But there's no such thing as an unarmed encounter. You and I are having one right now. It's on my side. So this thing of he was unarmed, you know, or it's an unarmed confrontation with a police officer is non-existent, because there is a weapon. It's right between us right now. If you wanted to get it, we would fight for it, but you see what I'm saying? There is that opportunity for you to disarm me.
Right.
So, you know, it's a sad situation, because I know that officer's life is ruined. I do feel for the family, but you know, the media didn't help that because again, once the science and the eyewitnesses came out, it happened exactly like they said in the beginning. But sadly, we went through days and days and days of that police department. And I will fault them to a degree. They should have been on it, the media, quicker and put more out there. When you don't feed the media monster, as it's called, it's going to go with witnesses. And I understand that. You know, I do understand that. And you know, that's why here locally we try to work right along with the media, like we did in Louisville. You know, our major media markets, our local media. We try to stay transparent. But something like that happens. Obviously, we can't give you everything. But we certainly can give you things that are going to tell you what happened to a degree. Well,
I know you're a big advocate of body cams. You think that would solve a lot of that? I do. You know, I share on my personal Facebook quite often. Anytime there's one on there, I share it, because I'm trying to, I don't guess I'm trying to convince people, but I'm just trying to illustrate my point that this is why we want them. Because, you know, you'll get an overall feeling from a community that, you know, the police just do everything wrong. Well, no, we don't. But when you've got topics and these crazy social sites out there that can say whatever, you can create whatever. And gosh knows, after Ellis was killed, the idiotic rumors we had in this community, and they're still out there. Body cam's not going to lie to you. You videoing me right now. There's nothing we can do. The camera does not lie, exactly. And we want that. We want to show the public, hey, this is what happened, just like we said it happened. Double-edged sword. A lot of the community wants us to get it. Yeah. But understand, you're going to be on that camera That's right.
as the member of that community. So if you are fighting and drunk and disorderly and making, that's the shining moment of your life.
You too.
It's on video. But that's a part of it.
Well, again, and I know a lot of times things are going on behind the scenes that we just don't see. Right. I mean, obviously, I know this the investigation of these criminals that, like the murders, are still ongoing. There's things that you're collecting every day. And I just had a recent press conference just a week or so ago, I think, just to remind people that there's somebody out there that knows something.
Yes.
And it might be insignificant to them, but it might be something that really fits in your puzzle.
Yes, and that was it. That I think Lieutenant Thompson did a great. One of the best statements that he made was, hey, if you were driving the car that night, mm-hmm. you're not the trigger man, but mm-hmm. you too can come forward. Someone knows something else.
Yeah.
And that's what our point. Again, yes, to keep it alive, but there may be other, and we feel that there's more than one person involved. So that second or third or fourth person, mm-hmm. you may not have been the trigger man, but you can come forward and protections to a degree, I guess mm-hmm. we could say. You've got the information we need. We want that trigger person. Mm-hmm. And I thought he made a great statement when he said that mm-hmm. you might have something that you just are scared, don't know how to say it.
And that's the big question right there. And I think one of the things stuck out in my mind about it, he said if somebody came forward and you felt in danger, they could put you under the witness protection program. I know that sounds like a wonderful thing, but a lot of people may not want to be relocated and sent somewhere with a new name, and so that's a little daunting coming to say that. I mean, I wish there was a better way of getting information without putting somebody in danger.
Right. Well, and what I try to tell people too is, on any investigation that we do, if Kenny Fogel wants to remain anonymous and give me a tip, mm-hmm. he's going to remain anonymous, because no matter how good your tip is, as a law enforcement officer, I have to corroborate. In other words, I have to have an independent.
Right. Like if I tell you that John Doe did this,
right.
and just said, I know John Doe did this, without me coming forth as a witness, it still does you no good, because even though you know who did it, you can't prove it to that 12 people you're talking about earlier.
I have to corroborate it as if Kenny Fogel didn't exist.
Right.
Somebody dropped that out of the sky, that
exactly.
name. I have to prove it. So I don't ever want to say you would not be, because the courts are the courts.
Right.
But we're going to do everything we can to where whoever that person is mm-hmm. that has that piece of information or comes forward, you will never exist as far as we're concerned. Mm-hmm. We're going to do everything we can to protect that person. We will work with the courts. We will do everything but beg the courts not to make that come out. But again, that's where we have to do a good job of cooperating independent of your... Right. You gave me the tip. Now I've got to...
Because basically the defendant has more rights, and their rights trump everything else, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Well, in Bardstown right now, I'll just change subject mm-hmm. speeds a little bit right now. I mean, you got new things coming up, new police cruisers, I know, just in the last few years. Mm-hmm. The tasers, is that something that's been a big change to the law enforcement over the last 5 or 10 years or so? Is that something you're seeing or using more of?
Every one of our uniformed officers carries a taser. Uh-huh. There's a few of us that have still carry a nightstick. I don't carry a taser, as you can see. Uh-huh. I do carry my old nightstick. I'm just old school. But they are a great tool.
Yeah.
There have been many instances where we were in a situation where we could have literally and legally shot someone mm-hmm. and been justified.
Yeah.
But the taser dropped the person enough for us to get over there and get them cuffed. Mm-hmm. For example, a person with a knife, that is not a taser versus knife is not an encounter. A knife is a deadly force. Mm-hmm. We're going to go to our gun first. But I have seen personally where we were in a situation several years ago where it was across the room, a person had a knife, and one of the deputies, marshals I was with, was able to tase the person and drop them to where we could, what we call pig pile him and get him cuffed. But we would have been justified to shoot that person.
I know when I was in the Air Force years ago and I went through some training, and basically one of the things they said is never leave somebody that's coming at you, never leave them the opportunity to come at you the second time. So I know that's one of the shoot to kill type scenarios. But a taser, I've never been tasered, so I'm assuming that it takes you down it's pretty significant.
We can arrange it if you'd like.
No.
We do allow...
No, we're not doing that on here. I can tell you that right now.
A nice live shot.
I guarantee you would. I've said some words you can censor too.
It's about 50,000 volts that hit you.
Ooh.
And it will drop you. It drops you for just enough time for us to, and that's the object, to completely tense you up and get us over there so we can get you cuffed. And that's the goal. And it works. We tase people quite often. I'll be very frank with you. We do. But it's a fight out of people. And we don't want to fight, believe me. So when we're in a situation where we can tase that person to get them under control, we haven't hit them, we haven't had to have blood, the mess, we're not in an old-fashioned street fight. When we can tase you and get you cuffed within 15, 20 seconds, that's the way we like it. We don't want to get hurt either. So.
Well, law enforcement, been in law enforcement for several years. What have you seen now that's more coming to the forefront? Obviously, everybody's saying the drug use, heroin, things of that nature. Is that something you're seeing a rise in this area, or is that something that's just panning all over the country?
Well, I think it is. It's replaced the pain pill epidemic of about 2 years ago. Our legislators did a great job with the pill bill, I guess as it's nicknamed. That. But sadly, people who are addicted are going to find that next step. They're not going to just throw their hands up and say, "Well, the legislators got me." They're going to continue, and it's a sad situation. They're so addicted. But yes, heroin is now replacing that, and that's an old 1970s drug.
Yeah, that's an old drug. That's
hippie drug. Yeah, hippie drug.
Yeah, hippie drug.
But it's come back because it's easy to make. It's apparently a very from what people talk to us, it's a very powerful high. It's a great high. Yeah. So if it's cheaper to make, it's easy to make, and it's a better high, then that's what we're going to. But we're seeing statewide a whole lot of deaths because of it.
Well, we're seeing the meth labs there for a while. I haven't heard much about meth labs lately. Are they of the past, or are they just sort of fading out?
They're still out there. Matter of fact, we just posted a press release just a couple of hours ago. We busted one today. Yeah. But they're slowly dying out to a degree. Still there, but 5 years ago, it was fish in a barrel.
Yeah, it was.
And but we've done a good job here locally of attacking that. But again, all you do is you push in different directions.
So you're never going to be out of work.
I have job security as long as I want it, sadly. So.
It sounds that way because there's always somebody out there, and it's not necessarily the criminal element, but people just not necessarily abiding by what it is the society's norms are right now.
Right.
All right. Well, Chief, I do appreciate you being able to stop in here today.
Well,
Maybe we'll be able to come back in. If there's anything you ever need to come in and get out to the public, we appreciate you just stopping in here. And like I said, if there's somebody out there that knows something, there's a tip line of some sort, just give the Bardstown Police a call, and they'll be more than happy to listen to you and hopefully keep you as anonymous as possible. But all the help you can do, you need people's help in order to. There's only so many of you all, so you need a lot more eyes and ears out there than just the police force.
And that's any crime. I tell people the best partner I've ever had's my community. 27 years, 28 years of doing this. When you work with the community, you'll solve crime. And Bardstown will be the first to say, well, we're not snitching around here. But there's a whole lot of good folks that are tired of it. And there are a lot of people that are working with us, and they should. And they'll tell you, we're just tired. We're done with it.
It's self-protection.
It is, exactly. It's your neighborhood. You know what goes on in your neighborhood better than we. You know who belongs in your neighborhood better than we. Yeah. And that's where it starts. So, yes, we encourage you to contact us for any issue.
Okay. Well, Chief Rick McCubbin here, the Bardstown City Police. We appreciate you being here, and we appreciate you tuning in. And we'll be back with more community focus here on Central Kentucky TV in just a minute. Stick around.